2:30, Jerome Powell, head of the Fed, holds a news conference to discuss interest rates and monetary policy actions. The Fed is expected to take some action today. Next year, though, is a little up in the air. So let's start there. Sean, it was thought for a while that Donald Trump would do with the Fed chair what he did with the FBI director, which is basically say, quit or be fired. Powell made clear he was not going to quit. Um, Donald Trump seems to, based on comments he's made in the Meet the Press interview, he's backed off. What is going on with Donald Trump's attitude towards the Fed and towards Chairman Powell?
I think it's a good question. I mean, I think there's a little difference with the Fed, with the history, the tradition of the Fed chairman, in terms of serving out their term. I also think that my guess is that his team had a conversation.
Well, but I think, hold on, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think it cuts the other way. I think the notion of the 10-year FBI term is more sacrosanct in the halls of Washington
Yeah, but he
than the
already
Fed
fired
chair.
Comey.
Well, I know, but you're saying he only gets one bite at that apple?
No, I'm just saying. Look, here's the bigger issue. I think that from a policy perspective, the folks around him have explained to him, look, they're cutting rates, things are moving in the right direction. I'm not sure that they thought that it would actually end up in a better place. That's what at least I'm
Yeah.
surmising so far.
But you agree with me, I assume, that if Trump decides he doesn't like him next year, he could obviously change his mind
Oh,
and force
I
force
don't
the guy
even,
out.
yeah, I mean, not to
Yeah,
beat
yeah,
it, but I think it could be tomorrow too. But
yeah,
I was
yeah,
shocked at the comments that he made on that Meet the Press interview and how much confidence he instilled. And, I
yeah,
mean, Powell is there. He's not worried about putting up additional pictures on the wall.
yeah. Dan, what are your thoughts on the Powell-Trump relationship?
Oh, I think it's going to be fraught because Powell has a scoreboard, so to speak, and that's the stock market. And I think Trump is very sensitive to the stock market. And look, the FBI doesn't have a scorecard. You can fire the head of the FBI. It may impact things, over time, investigations and the efficiency or the effectiveness of the department. But you start messing with the public markets, you can jawbone all you want, but global and macro, winds will still kind of ride over your words. And so I think he's a little more careful and a little more cautious messing around with the Federal Reserve.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I think he'd fire him if he thinks he has to, but
yeah.
but there's risk.
I totally
Well, it's
agree.
also, he
I
doesn't
think,
feel the
yeah,
same
good.
vengeance. I mean, the FBI, like he said in
Yeah,
that interview, they raided his house. It's not like Jerome Powell has done anything personally to him.
yeah. I think they feel like they can have a Trump bump in confidence in markets and why mess with it. Powell is not, I think, as well thought of as he was once upon a time, but he's still a pretty solid figure. And it's just not worth having. If they decide, I think they decided they're not going to have the fight now. So why not just encourage him and try to be on good terms with him? And then, as Sean said, tomorrow Trump could change his mind. But for now, this is the status quo. Be curious to see what kind of questions about Trump the chairman gets today. All
Well,
right.
by the way, Mark, if the
Yeah.
market goes down, in the first 2 years of his term, there's your foil.
Yeah. 100%.